Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin and I'm streaming live from the very heart of southern Russia. And I'm going to be talking about friends of Russia, perhaps foes, enemies. Before I start, I'd like to address one thing. After every single stream, the following day, I watch, read the comments. I try to read all of them, but usually there are too many comments and I read just part of the comments. And I am absolutely surprised. I could even say I'm shocked how many people take my streams as black and white matter. My friends, Russia isn't the safest place to speak up your mind any longer. And in my streams, I use lots of sarcasm, and I hope that you read between the lines and you see some true meanings of some things. I hope you read between the lines at least somewhat of my streams. Russia has so many friends, Russia is a country. And I'm going to be speaking of that. Russia is a country today. Not about the people. People are completely different thing. And I distinguish between the Russians and Russia, run by Russian government. So Russia has or had many friends. Long time ago in a galaxy far away. Yeah. Well, I'm going to be talking about what is happening today, right now, currently, and how it is seen from where I sit right here, right now, from the very heart of Russia. Before we jump into this message, today's message, like about today's Russia, I'd like to take you a few steps back. Historically, the Soviet Union, I'm not even touching the Soviet Union, it was a completely different country, completely different international politics, setup and so forth. But I look back as far as 1991. The new Russia was born, or rather old Russia was born, and it claimed its place in the world. And it was a good place. It was a place to be proud about. At least I was proud as a young Russian citizen when I traveled to the USA. I was not disappointed much in my country's position. Russia enjoyed a lot of respect in the United States, and it was a friend. From old adversary, enemy, it became a friend. Fantastic, Russians and Americans got along fine. Yes, it is possible in the world. And, Russians got along fine with everyone. And our governments got along fine, actually. Boris Yeltsin was buddies with Bill Clinton. And later, Vladimir Putin, second Russia's president, was actually friends with George W. Bush. They visited each other's homes. George W. came to visit Putin at his house and stayed at his house near Moscow. And Putin paid the visit back. He actually did go to Maine. I think it was 2004. And he stayed for a night at Walker's Point. That's the place where Bush's estate is located in Kennebunkport, Maine. Everything was going fine. Russia did not have any enemies in the world. It jumped on the train. It was the first one to offer help to the United States after 9/11, and things were going fine. Well, I'm not going into the reasons why everything changed, but it did. And the changes I personally, this is my opinion, I started noticing changes back in 2011 Vladimir Putin all of a sudden changed into very, somewhat aggressive rhetoric against the United States. It was the first time I heard during one of his debates before the elections, he called Americans partners, not friends, but I don't remember what he said, but I clearly remember partners. He started calling them partners, and everyone in Russia saw his sarcasm, and everyone understood what he meant by saying partners, competitors, not the enemies, far from enemies, but competitors. The country was trying to get ahead of us. Time went by, things got worse. 2014 came by. First the Olympics, there were quite a few scandals at Sochi Olympics. I personally think Russia did a really good job organizing it, but a lot of people, a lot of countries did not see it that way from outside of Russia. And of course, 2014 happened, Crimea, Donbass, Ukraine, and that's when the chasm appeared. At that point, we had some close friends. They were, of course, the CIS countries, former Soviet Union countries. They were Kazakhstan, Belarus, and Armenia. 3 closest allies. We actually are one country, quasi one country with Belarus, a union state, and we have a military alliance with Armenia. And we're very close with Kazakhstan. We sent our troops to Kazakhstan for a few days to help the current Kazakh president. It happened in January, if you remember. So those 3, then there were other close friends, the former Soviet republics, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan. Those are not as close, but they were close enough. And then, of course, we had friends in the Americas, and they were Cuba, Venezuela, and Bolivia. And, those friends are actually money friends. As long as you help them, as long as you support and help the regimes, you are their friend. You give them money, you give them power, you give them support. They give you friendship on paper. They give you nice words. But if things go sour, then the friendship kind of changes. I'm going to show you what has happened to those friendships, today, in the current day. Of course, we had countries that we used to call friends. They were Syria. We actually sent our troops to Syria to fight Syrians. Some Syrians in Russia, they're called terrorists. ISIS, Russia did fight and actually did a very good job. It helped current president Bashar Assad to keep his regime, to stay in power. And Russia established a permanent Air Force base there, military base. So it's still present in Syria. Of course, Syria is our friend, right? Iran has been fairly neutral to us. We helped Iran, and on paper claimed that we are somewhat friends. North Korea, oh yeah, big friend. The daddy of this current North Korean leader, the big Kim Jong-un or something like that, he actually hated flying. He took the train everywhere. He did come to Russia in the early 2000s by train. Yeah, he had his own personal train to meet with Vladimir Putin. So North Korea has been our friend out of the question, There were a couple countries fairly close to Russia, Turkey and Egypt. We did call them friends, and we still calling them friends. We're calling Turkey a very close friend right now. Probably one of the closest in Russia. We call them friends, but I'm gonna tell you what happened a couple days ago, and you decide whether they're true friends or not. But anyway, Turkey and Egypt, they were allies in in Africa, Northern Africa, and in Europe. Um, we had some friends in Europe, and of course there was Serbia. We've supported Serbia a lot. Hungary, because Hungary has a president who is pro-Russian. He's been very sympathetic to Russians in Russia, actually. And of course Germany. Germany is a very powerful country, one of the powerhouses in the world, and we've enjoyed good relationship with Germany despite troubled history 80 years ago. That was not friendship, I would say, my opinion, but it was very strong economic partnership. We were selling Germany gas, cheap gas, and Germans were selling us everything else. France, we were very close with France historically. Yes, we did have a war with France. Back in 1812, Napoleon invaded Russia. Russians drove him all the way back to Paris. So somehow the friendship was born there. And then for a couple 100 years, we've been close with France. And couple neutral countries, Mongolia and India, I would say those are not friends, not partners, competitors, enemies. That's pretty much what was the situation until February of this year, 2022. China. Did I mention China? It was hope. It was called friend. It was called the closest ally. Because China is a very powerful country. It's right next to Russia. And it has been opposing the United States. And it has been somewhat supporting Russia. When the first sanctions happened in 2014 and the chasm started growing, China came to the rescue. It lent Russia quite a bit of money, and it asked for a pipeline to be built into China to supply Russia's natural gas. So, and ever since, China's been playing, push and pull, but it's been pretending a friend of Russia. And Vladimir Putin, it's very important. He has close personal relationship with some leaders. He has a good relationship with Chinese president. He has good relationship with Hungarian president, with Erdogan, Recep Erdogan, the Turkish president. Although the Erdogan backstabbed Russia once already. Back in 2015, I believe. Turkey has interests in Syria that oppose Russian interests, and Turkey shut down Russian fighter plane, and Russian pilot was actually murdered. A lot of people in Russia considered it as a backstabbing, but then things worked out. Erdogan came out and apologized. He said, "I'm sorry," okay, and he was forgiven. So Russia and Turkey became close again. Anyway, so comes 2022, and Russia does something very radical. It attacks Ukraine. You all know the drill. I have said it many times. I give you messages of different angles about this thing. I'm not going to repeat myself. 24th of February 2022. Tragedy happens. That day was like a test. Because it's okay to be friends when things are okay, things are nice, things are good, but the friends are really tested in times of trouble. You all know that. And February 2022 was the time for the friends to be tested. If countries were true friends, as they had been saying they were, then they would support Russia, right? And if not, then they wouldn't. Anyway, to many, this decision of Russia to attack Ukraine came as a huge surprise. To us in Russia, to most of us, it came as a huge surprise. I couldn't believe it for the first couple days. But it happened. And the world started boiling. You are all witnesses to that process. It's still in our recent memory. You all remember that. The world was outraged, still is outraged, by the actions of Russia. And, there's been different processes in Russia, but this is not today's stream topic. The grand test of friendship descended upon to the so-called friends of Russia. Now, the very first signs of trouble came in early March because the United Nations, all countries got together and they created a resolution calling Russia to stop the actions in Ukraine and condemning the actions. Okay, the infamous resolution, I believe it was second, something like that, very early March. And guess what? They were 141 countries that signed the resolution condemning Russian actions. They were 35 countries that abstained. They didn't say anything. And there were 5 countries, including Russia, who actually opposed the resolution. And it just kind of makes sense to say that those countries who supported Russia, who went against the resolution, were true Russia's friends. Well, what were the countries? It's a good one. Syria. Well, surprise, surprise. Russia has a military base, active military base in Syria. North Korea. Country of its own. One of a kind. No one really understands North Korea, except for North Korea, okay? Eritrea. Country I heard of a couple times in Africa. Okay. Belarus. Belarus, another ally. It depends on Russia a great deal. Russian president helped Belarusian president deal with the unrest in the country a year and a half ago. So it's kind of obvious that, this military union country supported Russia and Russia itself. So the true friends of Russia turned out to be Syria, North Korea, Eritrea, and Belarus. Ooh, signs of trouble. What about Kazakhstan? What about Armenia? Turkey, China, Venezuela, Cuba, Bolivia. My God, Bolivia was always on the Russia side. Mongolia, India, France, Germany? Huh? Where were those countries? Well, they definitely not. They were not in the Russia's camp. That was the first sign. But you know what? A lot of people on the very top of Russian management pyramid, they kind of don't listen to science. They don't, science don't warn them. Or perhaps they do, but they think they're smarter than the science. Or perhaps they are smarter than the science. And they're playing this super duper smart, this geopolitical chess game that we don't even remotely understand, okay? I take that's a possibility, right? I don't know what's the probability of it, but certainly there's a possibility. So they definitely did not take the science because they kept on calling the friends Turkey, and all of a sudden our new friend was India, and China was closest friend, closer than ever, and Turkey again, and China, and India again, Hungary. All those countries did not support Russia at the historic UN vote. Just want to make sure you understand. Now, where are we standing now as a country? What is their position? Have we kept the friends or so-called friends? Let's just go country by country. Venezuela. We saved Venezuela's butt because it was on the verge of civil war, on the verge of regime change. You know, you remember what was happening 3 years ago, and Russia stepped in. It stabilized Venezuelan economy by giving Maduro loans. Russian company Rosneft stepped in, and then anyway, they bailed out Venezuelan economy. Well, guess what happened right after the start of the special military operation? Please forgive me for saying that, but that's how it's called in Russia. Venezuela kind of stopped talking to Russia because Russian oil was all of a sudden not needed anywhere, and oil became a much sought after commodity, much more sought after commodity than before. And guess what? Venezuela has plenty of oil, lower quality, but plenty of it. And the United States did a move immediately, started talking about cooperation, about forgiving sins to Venezuela, to Maduro, and we don't know much about that, but I take it that Maduro made some kind of a deal, or in the process of making a deal. And all of a sudden, Venezuela kind of abstained itself from talking to Russia, okay? No more friend. Cuba? Cuba has been silent. Cuba has not said a word. It has not supported Russia. It has not, it hasn't said one single word. It's not our friend any longer. There were talks about what if we put our bases, military bases, back to Cuba. I don't think Cubans would allow it these days. Okay, so friend, close friend. Yeah, we can cross it out from the list. Bolivia. Bolivia is quite a country. It's a friend for hire, so to speak. This guy in charge of Bolivia, anyway, Bolivia is also can be crossed out because it hasn't supported Russia's actions, and Russia is somewhat upset about that. Or perhaps very upset. I'm not that deep inside Russian diplomacy to know exactly what is happening. Egypt. Egypt, it's not a friend, but it wants Russian wheat because there are plenty of people, and the Egyptian president, he doesn't want his people to starve, because if they do, he's gonna lose his position of president of Egypt. So, he came to Russia, to St. Petersburg not too long ago, and he actually spoke to Vladimir Putin. He did not voice open support, but he's in the picture. So I would say he's more or less neutral. Syria, supporter. Syria has no choice, Not only North Korea has supported Russia all this time, but there have been talks about getting some laborers, ceramic tile installers from North Korea to work in Russia, because they work 2.5 times more efficiently than the Russian ones. And I made a stream a few days about that. If you haven't checked it out, go and watch it. So North Korea is with us. Woohoo! Good company. Syria and North Korea. Eritrea, I don't really know. There's one more country that is getting close and is becoming I can't say a friend, but it's put itself on the map, on the radar, so to speak. That's Taliban government. Although Taliban is considered a terrorist organization here in Russia, it's been considered long time. Yet Taliban representatives visit Russia regularly, and in March, it had talks with Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and very soon there will be the talks about establishing Taliban representation here in Russia. What can I say? Not much. New friend? Well, we'll see. Belarus. Should we even talk about Belarus? It's a military ally of Russia, and it's a country that depends on Russia, so it's not really. We will talk about Belarus when the Belarusian president is out of the picture. And then we will see what Belarusians, I don't know when then it happens, but it must happen one day, sooner or later. And we will see what Belarusian people will say after he's out of the office. But time will tell. Now, there's another country, very interesting country, Iran. Iran had never been our friend. Yeah, I'd say it's more of our enemy. It's a very aggressive country. It's a very religious country, Shia Muslim. Recently, Vladimir Putin traveled to Iran about months ago, and he actually met with Turkish president and Iranian president. On paper, in photographs, everything was absolutely fantastic. Shook hands. What is the real relationship between Iran and Russia? I don't know. As far as I understand, Iran has not supported Russia's actions in Ukraine, and it's playing its own game. It's always playing its own game. Like I was told by Iranians, by an Iranian lady, she said, "You Russians try to come to Iran and do business with us. We've been selling carpets on the streets for 2,000 years. And you trying to outsmart us?" And I think she was absolutely right. So Iran is definitely not a friend. Now, I come down to three countries that are considered here in Russia, in the media, by the politicians, at least officially considered three closest friends right now. Well, no, really four, not three, but four. Kazakhstan, strategic partner, part of the USSR, same culture, same language, A lot of people speak Russian in Kazakhstan, and kind of same as Ukraine, only on the east, okay? Same kind of position. Brothers and sisters live in Kazakhstan, India, China, and Turkey. Well, Kazakhstan has been given signs of trouble to Russia. First of all, Kazakh president came to visit Vladimir Putin at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum, and he openly said that Kazakhstan does not support actions of Russia. Right into Vladimir Putin's face. That was a shock, okay? Things have gone sour since then. Kazakhstan gives Russia small signals. For example, it has not allowed for Russian replacement for Visa MasterCard type of payment system to work in Kazakhstan. It's called Mir, the world, and it does not work. It works everywhere else. Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Belarus. It doesn't work in Kazakhstan. According to the Russian government, it should, but it doesn't. India. India was a neutral country, and now it's considered a friend for one simple reason. Because India still trades with Russia, still buys Russian raw materials, and sells whatever it sells, whatever it produces. In this situation, in today, that by itself, that one country, despite all the sanctions by most of countries in the world, still deals with Russia, that's a huge deal. And it's considered a sign of friendliness. It's not. Friendship. It's not. I would like to send a very strong message to the Russian government. Indians are not our friends. Have never been, they will not be ever our friends. They are using opportunities to make a buck. They are buying lots of Russian oil, and of course that's going to be a growing market for Russian oil, okay, because European countries have banned Russian oil starting with 2023. So we're going to sell it somewhere, India and China. But little is known here in Russia that India keeps on buying Russian oil with 35% discount. And discount is not negotiated. It's blackmailed because, it's their way or highway. Make no mistake, India is not Russia's friend whatsoever. Although here in Russia, some Russians, many Russians think that India is our friend. China is a special case, China, we've had this strange and unusual relationship with China, our southern neighbor, and China is, second biggest or the biggest economy in the world. It's definitely the force to consider. And China manufactures everything. In theory, it can supply Russia with anything, and it can buy so much stuff, raw materials, oil, gas, pulp, wood, metals, or anything, right? Chinese will buy and swallow everything that is thrown to them. And on paper, the Chinese, led by their president, Xi Jinping, they've showed support to Russia. They were saying, Russia actions somewhat justified, and other countries should not get their noses into the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and so forth. There have been quite a few statements from China, but in this case, China is playing paper tiger because, and I mean, it's obvious. If it's obvious to me, I don't understand why it's not obvious to those guys, in my word, words speak much less than actions. Actions show real intentions. Well, these are the actions. The companies, most Western companies have left Russia, and the countries, Western companies, have stopped trading with Russia. Where does Russia turn to? Of course, China. In theory, trade volume between Russia and China must go up tenfold because, hey, now we buy everything from China. It's no Germany, no European countries, not the United States any longer. It's China. And I'm going to give you the numbers. January, the goods sold to Russia from China, products, services, $7.4 billion. That's January. February, 5.2 billion. March, 3.8. April, 3.8. And now it's even less. So the trade volume is going down. Actions, my friends, speak much louder than words. Now, does China still buy things from Russia? Oh, yes. And the trade volume from Russia to China has increased. January, $7.5 billion. February, 6.2. March, $7.8 billion. And March, $8.9 billion. And going up. It means that Russia cannot sell anything anymore to Europe and its other biggest customers, biggest buyers. But it can to China. And China is using and abusing this situation. It's buying everything in volumes with huge discounts. It's not a matter of negotiations again, it's a matter of blackmail. Okay? Russia is being blackmailed by China. Is this friendship? Another action that speaks louder than words. The actions of large Chinese companies. No large companies in Chinese are private. The government has a huge deal on managing them and owning them. The high-tech companies Huawei and Xiaomi, on paper, in the words, they've been continuing to sell their products in Russia. In reality, they're closing down. They live in Russia. They're keeping their companies open as if they were still working in Russia. But they sell less and less, and now you can buy just a fraction of what you could buy a year ago or 6 months ago. They are leaving. That, my friends, is action that speaks so much more than words. And China is number 2 friend. Okay, number 1 friend, negotiator between Russia, Ukraine, and the West, so to speak. The country that part of NATO, but Russia's closest friend. Nevertheless, the country that's a part of NATO, but it has never been considered a threat to Russia. Turkey. Turkey. I personally love Turkey. I love going to Turkey. I have known so many people from Turkey. I have good friends, fantastic people, very good entrepreneurs. Just peaceful, very hot-blooded. Don't try to insult the Turkish. You will get a fight. He'd pick up a fight with you just like that, or, can even knife you. But overall, nice people. I like Turkish very much. And Turkey has been led by Recep Erdogan for past, 10 plus years, something like that. And that guy is mighty. I don't know how ethical he is. That's a different question, but he's definitely powerful. He wants to build his own empire, Turkish empire. Rumors have it. I don't know exactly, but, and he's been all over the place. He's been friends with Vladimir Putin. He signed strategical partnership, trading partnership with Ukraine recently. He's been negotiating, going to speak to Zelensky, coming back to Putin, giving messages and so forth. The guy been all over the place. He's considered our friend. Turkey is considered our friend. Although we have some disputes in Syria, because our goals in Syria, in Russia and Turkey has different goals there. And as you remember, Turkey even shot down Russian fighter plane. We didn't go to war over that, but our relationship went sour for a few years. But Turkey is considered as the closest one. And you know what? That's a huge mistake. Because this guy, Erdogan, he's out for himself. Sitting here in Rostov in my chair, I understand that and I know that. And it's obvious, okay? I don't understand how people up there are not seeing that. Well, perhaps they are. Perhaps they're much smarter than I think they are. I don't know. But I would never trust Erdogan. Erdogan only does what is profitable to him. That's pretty much it. It buys Russia's latest missile defense system, and it starts, contradicting the West. The United States starts fighting with the USA over that. At the same time, it builds state-of-the-art automatic drones, supplies to Ukraine, and Ukraine is using against Russia. at the same time turns around, goes, meets, Russian president, shakes hands, hugs, and so forth, friends. They go meet Iran, negotiate. This guy is all over the place, but there's one big problem with him. The tide starts turning away from Russia, and I'm talking about Turkey. Because my guess, I think, is just, I don't know, I don't have the facts, but this is my guess. I think Turkey is coming under so much pressure, more and more pressure from the Western companies led by the USA, perhaps Britain and so forth, to cut ties with Russia. Basically, I think Turkey is facing a choice. Who is it with, Russia or the West? And it's a very tough choice for Turkey because it wants to be with everyone, but I think it's forced to pick a side. And our so-called friend, it seems like, picked the side. A couple of days ago, there was in Ukraine every year, it's an annual event. A conference happens. It's called Crimean Conference or something like that. That's Crimea is discussed and the crisis in Crimea, according to the Ukrainians. And Turkey announced yesterday that Crimea belongs to Ukraine and it's Ukrainian, and there's no question about that. In my eyes, my friends, that is a stab to the back of Russia. That's why I put that picture on a thumbnail. One guy is turning the back towards another guy, and another guy is just about to stab him. Russia and Turkey. I think Turkey just stabbed Russia. And the second stab came on August 8th, not too long ago. Turkey announced that it signed an agreement with the Ukrainian government to build a factory of high-tech drones, war drones, in Ukraine, for Ukraine. Where the drones will be used, who are they going to be used against, doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell. And that is the second stab in the back. So, Turkey, friend no more. It's a foe. And in this situation, for Russia, if a country is not a friend, most likely it's a foe. And the end of my message is this, my friends. At this point, Russia does not have friends, except for North Korea, Syria, and Belarus. Eritrea does not count. Russia is absolutely alone in this big, vibrant, different world. Russia has lost all the friends or countries that were actually had a good feelings towards Russia and good relationships with Russia. Russia has isolated itself. There have been talks inside Russia about, if the world doesn't want Russia, we should isolate ourselves from the world. And this has been happening. Our last closest so-called friends or allies, China and Turkey, turning against us. And this, my friends, has been my message today. I hope you found it interesting, valuable. This is my outlook. I have not read it anywhere. I've came up with this sort of a puzzle. I've had many pieces put them together today, and this is my message. Please let me know in the comments. You agree with me or not? And if you know some countries who are true friends of Russia, please let me know. Because, of course, I could be wrong, Sometimes I am wrong, every time I admit. In this case, let's find out. Am I wrong or not? Do you think that Russia has friends or just foes? turning on live stream chat, please use common sense before posting anything. I have fantastic team of mods: Lorna, Mommy, Harry Potter, and Bob S. They keep this chat clean. They use common sense to supervise it, so don't even try to come up with something not decent. They will not let it happen. Opening a new window. My message has been actually quite longer than the usual one, but I apologize, but that's a quite complicated topic. So howdy. Something happened to my stream. Hang on. Hot in here today. There you go. Much better. Amra Makers is number 1 today. Angelic Cat Life, May Reg, Airborne Snail, Sylvia, Dirk, Derp, Blackhead, Lorna. Went way well. Lorna, there's not much I could do. It's a very complicated and voluminous topic, Bob, Tim, Harry, Mommy, Bob, BC, Scan Family, Mr. E30, Liz, John, Jeffrey, howdy. Reese Gray, Donna Olson. Donna is the new champion of live stream chats, number 1 today. Howdy ho from Beverly Hills, 9210. Donna, thank you so much, and I wish I was there. That's one place I wish I was there. Reese Gray came in second. Very honorable position, and you are right next behind Donna. Hello from Canada, Mr. Popular. If my friend does something inexcusable to someone, it's likely our friendship will end. Russia had friends before. It's inexcusable action. Now it's left with fake friends. Thank you for the message. I would change this. Not with fake friends, but with countries that are ripping Russia off, pretending being some, not even friends, but some allies, buddies or something. I would phrase it like that. Donna, second super chat. Thank you so much. Well, I don't know, is hell of a country. Thank you, Donna. King Nero, thank you. In the USA, where sometimes pay retail prices for royalty, big K countries that pay wholesale never get far. Great message today. Thank you so much. I am very glad you liked the message. Blackhead, thank you so much for your gift again. Appreciate it. We have 5 more new sponsors of the channel. Friday's coming up, so please, if you're a sponsor or a Patreon of this channel, a patron, member of Patreon, please come and join me, not on Friday, but on Saturday. Saturday will be 2 streams for sponsors only and for patrons only. I will try to figure out how to join 2 streams into one, but I have not been able to do that. There will be at least 2 streams, possibly 1, but 2 if I don't find technical solution how to join the streams, merge the streams, so to speak. So thank you so much, Blackhead, and thank you, Bruce. The sponsorship is growing. without us. Thank you so much. Thank you for your honest opinion. What do you think about Lithuanian gas carrier ship Independence that's currently operating? The vessel easily supplies all of the country needs for natural gas. Without us, I honestly have not heard of this carrier ship Independence. Interesting. I probably should look it up. You know what I've noticed? That Russians are like inside, politicians mostly, the officials, they're saying, oh, Europeans will not be able to get by without our gas. They will freeze. They will be freezing, well, not to death, but they will be freezing in the winter. Ha ha ha. We will see what happens when they crawl on their knees to us in December or in January saying, oh, we're freezing. This is the rhetoric that we're having here in Russia. I strongly disagree with it because, first of all, I understand that there are other suppliers of gas. Yes, not so convenient, not so fast, and not so cheap. But no one will freeze to death. And I also know that Europeans are so resourceful, like heat pump technology is developing, and there are already so many houses, for example, in Germany, who have heat pumps and solar power. Those folks not gonna freeze to death. And you just like opened my eyes for this another thing, for the carrier ship Independence that's currently operating and supplies all the country needs for natural gas. So Lithuanians, you guys will not freeze, You're gonna be okay. And I'm sure that every single country sources out some kind of a source of energy. It's not going to be cheap again. This is year number 1. But there will be year number 2, 3, 4, 5, 25, and then it'll get cheaper as the markets are in turmoil right now, but they will settle down, so to speak. There will be new rules of the game, new markets, new suppliers, new long-term contracts, and so forth. My huge question is, what is Russia gonna do in this case, okay? I was just discussing, I had my German-made boiler that produces hot water and heat for my house. I had it serviced today, and I was talking to the serviceman. He's in natural gas business, and we were discussing what's going to happen. And he's absolutely sure that within a year or a couple years, the price for natural gas for Russians, for domestic use, will triple. For us, if they won't be able to sell to the others, hey, they're gonna make it up on us, okay? And this is a general opinion among Russians. Whew. So I hope I answered your question. Definitely will look it up, this carrier ship Independence. Interesting. I thought you guys don't have like source of gas, and Latvians have been talking and have taken steps to actually refuse entry to all Russians into Latvia. And then there are talks in the media, in Russian media, about, we'll strike them back with cutting the gas or something like that, We'll see how it goes. Time will tell. Couple more super chats. Kaltenberg, thank you so much for cough syrup. My friend, thank you, but honestly, I will not buy cough syrup because I try to take as little chemicals, as little drugs, medicine as possible. It'll go away naturally in a couple of weeks, but thank you so much. That's going to be for a tea fund. How about that? Stephen Lindholm. Hi, Konstantin. Sadly, I think fear plays a big part in global problems, causes countries to keep large armies and not seek to build trusting relations and friendships. I agree with you. Huge problem. We could have done so much more by getting our resources together, by creating synergy, by working together. Look what the USA and Russia was able to achieve in the early 90s. The International Space Station, magnificent example. And look what's happening now. Also magnificent, anti-magnificent example, you know. Thank you, Stephen. Babs56, thank you. Okay, you're spot on. I believe all foes, questionable friends are in it for themselves, for the money. Chin, 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 it's all about the money. My husband had served years ago on independence. Great messaging today. Thank you so much, and thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. Much needed. Very, very appreciated. Kaltenberg. Fine. T-Fund. Enjoy, friend. Thank you so much. That'll buy me plenty of tea. Shared my tea discovery with my parents-in-law today. They came over for a visit, and I made them this fine Sri Lankan tea. They tried it, absolutely loved it. Okay, I will try to answer some questions. There's been a large number of super chats. I really appreciate, and I acknowledge super chats, and I answer the questions in super chats first. And then once they're gone, I go to the questions, because I think it's only fair to answer people who have shared, who've supported me, who've shared their hard-earned money, you know. Mario, howdy, howdy. Charlie from Pacific Beach, California, howdy. Joe from San Francisco. Argon, Xenon, hello from Romania. Are you a welder, Argon? The showman from London. Harry Podnan is here as usual. Whoa, it's a good one. Zonic, you said that friends are seen in hard time. In hard times for Serbia, Russia did not help us at all. It actually acted against us. Wow. My friend, all I can say is you live, you learn. I apologize. I did give Serbia as an example. It is a white knowledge here that Russia is behind Serbia, and Russia has helped Serbia, and I've heard it so many times. I actually don't know the true story, but I relied on what I've heard. I've seen myself the Serbs who moved to Russia and who operate like food stands. I had a barber who was cutting my hair. You know, he was Serb, and they have signs like Russia and Serbia, like brothers forever, and that also contributed to my understanding that Russia has been behind Serbia. So, but thanks for the heads up. I will definitely look it up, and I will have an opinion on that. David Day says Serbia supports Russia. Yeah, but that was a different message. Serbia supports Russia, but the guy said Russia did not support Serbia, which, I mean, I'm not questioning your words. It's just really strange for me to hear. Oля, howdy. Mark Griffiths, I'd rather not say, but the message is heard. Cindy Laugh Bunny. Hi, Konstantin. Interesting message. Do you think younger Russians will accept global isolation? No. They have been taking this. Bob, I'm watching time. They have been taking this very painfully. A lot of Russians, young Russians, have left, especially the ones who know how to speak a foreign language, and the ones who can apply their profession, their knowledge, their skills in some other countries. Okay, they've left. Tons of people, tons of young Russians have left. I think there was a wave of people leaving Russia, and there's another wave on the way, or perhaps it's happening right now, because it comes in waves, you know. Bob Brennan, thank you so much. Best wishes to you and your family. Thank you, Bob. Much appreciated. I see Brianna B. sending her support and love. Much love from Cork, and your message and loyalty is very precise and truth, I think. Love you, mods, and your family, Constantine. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you for sending love, supporting, and sending great words. Appreciate it. Sending my love back. Frank Harris, thank you so much for support. Appreciate it. Much needed and very appreciated. We have quite a few new, 10 new sponsors of the channel, courtesy of Blackad and Bruce. Pat Holland, Deacon Prepper, Wilbin Wilbin, isn't Transnistria an ally? What is Transnistria? Well, if I haven't heard of it, then perhaps it is. Samsa Solman, thank you so much. Every dollar, euro counts. RW, great to see you. Thank you so much for the support. Looking for a suitcase big enough to smuggle you and your family to the destination of your choice. Yahoo. That would be, gosh, I don't even know. Beverly Hills, 19210. Probably not to live, but definitely to visit. Thank you so much, my friend. Great to see you, and thanks for the support. And thanks for the suitcase. Okay. Couple questions, my friends. Bob, and, we'll go into the prayer. Kind of a short chat, but that's okay. The message was long. Fee, we still have gas in the Netherlands. Well, that's what I said earlier. I said that according to Russians, Russia has gas. Everyone else is outside of Russia is gas free and standing on their knees begging for Russian gas. And then I think the real picture is quite different. But that's going to be a rude awakening for the Russians in quite some time, Tim, cough, raw honey in your tea, or I actually never put honey in my tea. I like the taste of tea untouched. But sometimes in the mornings, I eat honey by spoon with tea. But nothing a little whiskey won't fix. Should get a little bit of whiskey one of these days. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a good stream. Not too difficult today for me, It was a topic of not the easiest, but, not the tragic. I have a couple more people that reached out and asked to be mentioned in the prayer, so please help me out. Let's pray. I finish all the streams with a prayer. If you're here for the first time, and if you're not, if you're the usual suspect, then you know that. So please, 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 I am asking you, begging you to join me in prayer. Let's do it. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us another good day. Thank you for giving food on our tables, roofs over our heads, and surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy. Please help stop bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out to people who make decision whether to stop or continue. Reach out and touch their hearts, make them softer, fill them with love, fill them with remorse, mercy, forgiveness, empathy, goodness. Make their hearts softer, open their eyes, give them common sense, and put sense into their heads so they wake up and they stop the bloodshed. Please help everyone in Ukraine who has been affected by this tragedy. Give them strength, give them love, give them peace. Hear their prayers, answer their prayers, and please make their wishes come true. Please send angels to every single person in Ukraine who needs help of angel. Please make so that the angels will stop the bloodshed, will put everyone's, regardless who they are, out of the harm's way. Please help my country. Send an army of strong angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, Святой Archangel Michael, to fight demons that have hijacked my country. Make it run by the angels, make it righteous and good again. Please give us wisdom to raise our children the way that when they grow up they will make this place better world and they will never ever fight and have wars. They will build the world full of love. I'm asking for every single woman who is pregnant and trying to make the decision whether to keep the baby or not. Reach out to them, touch their hearts, speak to them, so they make the right choice, the right decision. Please help everyone who has been forced to flee their country, their home, to run for their lives. Please send good people their way and send help their way. God, sometimes it feels like this world is going crazy. Please give us some solid ground to stand upon in this storm. Please make our sight clear so we can see everything and distinguish right from wrong. Please give us strength so we don't lose ourselves and we stay the course we're supposed to stay. And please give us strength to come out of this storm shining and righteous. Thank you very much for bringing us together in this community to allow us to pray together, to ask you for ourselves and for the others. Please help everyone who is praying right now or watching us pray. Answer everyone's prayers and make everyone's wishes come true. I would like to mention a few people who need your help. They are Elena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie and Igor, Melissa, Buzz, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Michael Milkowitz, Narnian Lady, Susan S., Susan, Fiona, Sabrina, Moby Bay, Madeline, Stephen, Ellen, Paul, Freddie, Chirper, Michelin, Priscilla, King Nero, Martin, Joan, Donald, who always asks for himself and separately for his country, the United States of America, Allison and Dave Moyers, I Found Waldo, Liz, Deborah, Isabel Legod, may her father rest in peace and please give her strength. Ariana, Liz, Bruce, Kayleen, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, Mr. Hanson, Haiti Howell, Janice Burgess, and Maureen M. and her sister, and Terry Carter. I also am asking for 3 children. They are, 4 children. They are Maverick, Sebastian, Britzel, and Coulter. Please help these children, help their families, their loved ones. Show your miracles to them. Show your mercy. Give them healing. These kids, they need to go back to their families healthy, so everyone has love back in their lives, and these kids will have happy and healthy life ahead of them. Please show your mercy and show your love, show your miracles. Thank you, dear Jesus. Amen. My friends, thank you for another good stream. Thank you so much. It's been a good stream. You're awesome and you rock. You helped me so much. Mods, thank you so much for helping me doing the streams. Without you, it'd probably be impossible to do it. Everyone here appreciates your work so much. And overall, this is a great community. Thank you so much for being part of it. I will see you tomorrow. I'll be back with a new message. Thank you. Time to go to sleep to me now. Midnight in Russia. Past midnight. I will see everyone tomorrow.